Much of the discussion surrounding Prince Harry's ongoing security dispute has focused almost entirely on him. Headlines often emphasize that he lost his legal appeal, that his family no longer has the same security arrangements in the United Kingdom, and that the disagreement reflects continuing tensions between the Duke of Sussex and the royal institution. While those developments have dominated public coverage, another aspect of the story has received increasing attention from commentators: the practical effect that security arrangements may have on the wider activities of the Sussex family. Although Prince Harry has stated that he wishes to visit the United Kingdom with his family, the current arrangements mean that each visit requires careful planning. He is still able to travel privately if he chooses, arranging personal security while accepting the risks and limitations that come with that approach. Whether that option is sufficient has remained at the center of his legal arguments, with Harry maintaining that the level of protection available to him is inadequate for the threats he believes he faces. For Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, some observers argue that the issue extends beyond private travel. Her public profile, business ventures, and international partnerships have often been linked to her visibility and public appearances. From that perspective, the ability to attend events in Britain under appropriate security arrangements could influence future opportunities involving British or European audiences. Others disagree with that assessment, noting that much of her work is now based in the United States and can continue independently of regular appearances in the United Kingdom. The true commercial impact therefore remains a matter of debate rather than an established fact. Another feature of the current security framework has also attracted attention. Court proceedings confirmed that planned visits require advance coordination with the relevant authorities. Supporters of Harry argue that advance notice limits flexibility and creates practical challenges for arranging meetings or family visits. Government representatives, however, have maintained that the existing procedures are designed to balance security considerations with available resources and changing circumstances. At the same time, reports concerning Frogmore Cottage have added another dimension to the conversation. After the Sussexes vacated the property, various media outlets reported that the residence could eventually be repurposed as part of wider estate management. If such plans proceed, Frogmore would no longer serve as the family's former UK residence. While some commentators view this as symbolic of the couple's changing relationship with royal life, others see it simply as an administrative decision relating to royal property. These separate developments have encouraged commentators to examine whether they represent isolated events or parts of a broader institutional process. That interpretation, however, remains the subject of public debate. No official statement has suggested that the various decisions were coordinated for a single purpose, and different observers continue to reach different conclusions. The legal dispute itself also entered a new phase after Prince Harry's appeal concerning his security arrangements was unsuccessful. Following that decision, reports indicated that he requested a further review under the procedures governing protective security assessments. According to public reporting, the government agreed to undertake another review, though the details of that process have remained largely confidential. Media coverage has suggested that officials were reassessing the situation, but no final outcome has been publicly confirmed. At the same time, newspapers reported continuing tensions within the wider royal family. Various unnamed sources described disagreements over future contact between the Sussexes and senior royals, while other reports suggested that relationships remained strained. Because many of these accounts relied on anonymous sources, they have not been independently verified, and the individuals concerned have not publicly confirmed many of the reported conversations. Supporters of Prince Harry argue that any future change to his security arrangements would make family visits significantly easier and could remove practical barriers to appearing publicly in Britain. Others respond that security decisions should remain entirely separate from commercial considerations and should be based only on professional risk assessments conducted by the relevant authorities. For that reason, the debate surrounding Harry's security has grown beyond a simple legal dispute. It now touches on questions about public responsibility, personal safety, royal protocol, and the practical realities of life after stepping back from official royal duties. As new reviews continue and further information becomes available, the discussion is likely to remain one of the most closely watched aspects of the Sussexes' relationship with the United Kingdom. Attention also turned to reports concerning Prince William's alleged views on the Sussexes' future activities. Several media outlets claimed that he had expressed concern about how the Duke and Duchess of Sussex might use their royal connections during future international engagements. Some reports further suggested that discussions had taken place regarding protecting the reputation of the monarchy, while the Sussexes pursued independent commercial ventures. None of these reports, however, have been officially confirmed by Kensington Palace, making it important to distinguish reported claims from verified facts. The broader debate reflects a larger question about the relationship between the royal institution and family members who are no longer working royals. Critics of the current arrangements argue that the boundaries between public responsibilities, private lives, and commercial activities remain unclear. Others maintain that the existing framework is intended to preserve the distinction between official royal duties and independent business interests. One of the central legal issues concerns the security arrangements established after Prince Harry stepped back from official royal duties. In May 2025, the Court of Appeal dismissed Harry's challenge to the government's decision regarding his protective security. The judgment explained that, after leaving his role as a working royal, his circumstances had fundamentally changed. Rather than receiving the same standing protection provided to senior working members of the royal family, his security would continue to be assessed individually for each visit, based on current risks and operational considerations. Government lawyers describe this as a bespoke approach, meaning that every proposed visit would receive its own assessment rather than being covered by permanent arrangements. Prince Harry's legal team strongly disagreed with that characterization, arguing that the revised system resulted in less consistent protection than he previously received. The disagreement over the meaning of bespoke became one of the defining themes of the case, with each side offering a very different interpretation of whether the arrangement represented flexibility or reduced protection. Another point raised during the proceedings involved the advance planning required for visits to the United Kingdom. Harry's lawyers argued that providing notice well in advance could create practical security concerns and reduce flexibility when arranging travel. The court ultimately concluded that these arguments did not establish a legal basis for overturning the existing policy, leaving the government's approach in place. The case also examined how decisions are made by the committee responsible for recommending protective security. Harry's legal team questioned aspects of the committee's decision-making process and argued that the original review should be reconsidered. They raised concerns about the participation of representatives connected to the royal household and suggested that the process lacked sufficient independence. The government rejected those arguments, maintaining that the committee operated within the legal framework governing protective security decisions. After considering the submissions from both sides, the court ruled that the available evidence did not justify setting aside the committee's conclusions. While the allegations formed part of the public legal filings, the court did not accept them as grounds for overturning the decision. As a result, the debate has continued beyond the courtroom. Supporters of Prince Harry argue that the current arrangements leave his family facing unnecessary practical difficulties when visiting the United Kingdom. Others contend that the government's approach appropriately reflects his changed constitutional role after stepping back from official royal duties. Although opinions remain sharply divided, the legal position established by the court continues to govern the current security framework unless a future review results in changes. Attention then shifted to another controversy that attracted significant media coverage: the ongoing debate over the use of royal titles after the Sussexes stepped back from official royal duties. Reports from several outlets suggested that differing interpretations of the 2020 Sandringham Agreement continued to generate discussion years later, particularly after a public appearance involving Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. The issue resurfaced following an interview on entrepreneur Jamie Kern-Lima's podcast, where viewers noticed that a gift basket shown during the episode included a card bearing the styling HRH, the Duchess of Sussex. The footage quickly sparked online debate, because Buckingham Palace had previously announced that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex would no longer use their HRH styles after stepping back as working members of the royal family. In response, representatives for the Sussexes stated that the HRH styling was not being used for commercial purposes. Media reports highlighted differing interpretations of that explanation, with some commentators arguing that the title remained available for private use, while others maintained that the original understanding of the Sandringham Agreement implied it should not be used at all. Former palace officials also offered conflicting views, illustrating that disagreement over the arrangement has continued long after it was announced. The discussion intensified further when attention turned to another social media post in which Meghan shared a message from a public official who referred to her using the HRH style. Supporters argued that the wording belonged to the original author rather than Meghan herself, while critics viewed the repost as evidence that the title continued to be associated with her public image. Neither interpretation has been definitively established, leaving the matter open to continuing public debate. At the same time, commentary surrounding the Sussexes' commercial ventures remained divided. Some analysts questioned whether the couple's business strategy continued to benefit from their royal association, while others argued that their projects should be judged independently of their constitutional status. Reports concerning future business plans, media partnerships, and international branding added to speculation about how their public profile might evolve in the years ahead. Additional reporting also suggested that Prince William intended to maintain a clear distinction between the work of the monarchy and the independent activities of the Sussexes. Those reports relied largely on unnamed sources and have not been officially confirmed. As with many stories involving the royal family, competing narratives emerged from different media outlets, making it difficult to separate verified developments from informed speculation. Whatever interpretation readers choose, the debate demonstrates that questions surrounding titles, public identity, and commercial branding continue to shape discussion about the Sussexes long after their departure from official royal duties. The legal agreements, public statements, and media coverage have combined to create an ongoing conversation that remains one of the most closely followed aspects of the modern royal family. Some commentators argue that the Sussexes' public profile has often been shaped by their ongoing disagreements with the British press and the royal family. From that perspective, periods of public conflict have generated significant media attention and kept discussions surrounding the couple in the headlines. Others disagree with that interpretation, pointing instead to the couple's charitable work, business ventures, and independent projects as the primary drivers of their public identity. Whatever view one takes, there is little doubt that the relationship between the Sussexes and the institution continues to influence how their activities are perceived. Supporters of Prince Harry have also highlighted what they see as the cumulative effect of several administrative and legal developments. They point to three issues in particular: the current security arrangements, the future of Frogmore Cottage, and the practical challenges involved in maintaining a regular presence in the United Kingdom. First, under the existing security framework, proposed visits require advance coordination with the relevant authorities. Harry has argued in court that these procedures reduce flexibility and create practical difficulties for both private and public travel. The government, however, has maintained that the arrangements reflect his changed constitutional position after stepping back from official royal duties and are based on operational assessments rather than automatic entitlement. Second, reports have indicated that Frogmore Cottage, the Sussexes' former UK residence, has been considered for future estate management purposes after they vacated the property. Although no final outcome has been publicly confirmed, the discussion has been viewed by some commentators as another symbol of the family's evolving relationship with the royal household. Taken together, these developments have prompted debate about whether they simply reflect administrative decisions made over several years, or whether they collectively create practical obstacles for the Sussexes' future activities in Britain. No official body has described them as part of a coordinated strategy, and different observers continue to reach different conclusions. Beyond the legal and constitutional questions lies an undeniably personal dimension. Prince Harry has repeatedly stated that his greatest concern is the safety of his wife and children when visiting the United Kingdom. He has also spoken publicly about wanting his children to maintain a connection with their British heritage and with members of their extended family. Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet have spent very little time in Britain since the Sussexes relocated to the United States. Public discussion has frequently noted that King Charles has been undergoing treatment for cancer, leading some commentators to express hope that family relationships might eventually improve despite the continuing legal disagreements. Others caution that the personal dynamics within the royal family remain private and should not be judged solely through media reports. Following the Court of Appeal's decision, Prince Harry stated that a formal invitation connected with official arrangements would make future family visits easier from a security perspective. That comment underscored how closely questions of personal relationships, official protocol, and protective security have become intertwined. Whatever position people take on the legal dispute, many agree that the situation extends beyond courtroom arguments and constitutional procedures. It also concerns family relationships, personal safety, and the practical challenges of balancing private lives with intense public attention. As reviews continue and further decisions are made, the debate is likely to remain one of the most closely followed aspects of the modern royal family. The discussion surrounding the Sussexes is not limited to legal proceedings or family relationships. It also extends to the commercial realities of building an independent public brand after stepping away from official royal duties. Since relocating to the United States, Prince Harry and Meghan have pursued media partnerships, business ventures, and lifestyle projects designed to establish a new professional identity outside the framework of the monarchy. Commentators often describe that strategy as relying on two broad foundations. The first is the couple's presence in the American media and lifestyle market through streaming projects, publishing, podcasts, and consumer brands. Like many entertainment ventures, some initiatives have achieved greater success than others, and changes in commercial partnerships have fueled continuing debate about the long-term direction of their business activities. The second foundation is the continued public recognition associated with their royal titles and their connection to the British royal family. Supporters argue that this association remains an important part of their international profile, particularly when engaging with audiences in Europe and other global markets. Critics, however, question how that relationship should function now that the couple no longer carry out official royal duties. The ongoing security dispute has added another layer to that discussion. Prince Harry has argued that the current arrangements make travel to the United Kingdom more difficult and less predictable, while government representatives have maintained that the existing framework reflects his changed constitutional position. Depending on future decisions, those arrangements could influence how frequently the Sussexes choose to appear publicly in Britain, although the commercial implications of that remain speculative. Questions surrounding the use of royal titles have also continued to attract public attention. Different commentators have offered conflicting interpretations of the understanding reached when the Sussexes stepped back from official duties in 2020. Some believe the agreement limits the public use of the HRH style, while others argue that there remains a distinction between private and commercial contexts. Neither Buckingham Palace nor the Sussexes have fully resolved those differing public interpretations, allowing the debate to continue. Media reports have likewise suggested that senior members of the royal family hold differing views about how closely the Sussexes' independent activities should remain connected to the institution. Most of those reports rely on unnamed sources and have not been officially confirmed. As a result, they should be viewed as reported claims rather than established facts. At the same time, changes involving Frogmore Cottage and the wider management of royal property have become part of the broader public conversation. Some observers interpret those developments as symbolic of the Sussexes' evolving relationship with the monarchy, while others regard them as routine estate management decisions with no wider significance. The government's review of Prince Harry's security arrangements has therefore become a focal point for many observers. Supporters believe the outcome could influence future family visits and public appearances, while critics argue that security decisions should remain separate from questions of branding, commercial opportunities, or public relations. Ultimately, the story extends beyond a single court case. It involves legal principles, constitutional responsibilities, personal relationships, media narratives, and the challenge of balancing public life with private family concerns. Until the review process is completed and any future decisions are announced, many of the broader conclusions being drawn remain matters of interpretation rather than confirmed fact. The questions surrounding Prince Harry's security review extend well beyond a single legal dispute. Many observers are asking whether the review could eventually restore a more permanent security arrangement, whether it might make future family visits to the United Kingdom easier, and whether it could help improve relations between Harry and other members of the royal family. Those questions remain unanswered, while the review process continues. Some commentators have also argued that the outcome could influence Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, in different ways. They suggest that if future security arrangements become more flexible, regular visits to Britain could become easier to organize, potentially allowing for more public appearances or private engagements. Others caution that such conclusions remain speculative, because no final decision has been announced, and any future travel would still depend on practical, personal, and professional considerations. If the current case-by-case security system remains unchanged, the Sussexes may continue to face the same logistical challenges that have existed since they stepped back from official royal duties. Likewise, any future decisions concerning Frogmore Cottage or other royal residences could shape the practical aspects of future visits, although those property matters are separate from the legal review itself. For that reason, many people see the ongoing review as an important moment, even if they disagree about its possible consequences. Supporters of Prince Harry believe a revised security arrangement would make family visits easier and reduce uncertainty surrounding travel to Britain. Others maintain that the existing framework appropriately reflects his status as a non-working royal and should remain unchanged unless professional security assessments recommend otherwise. Media reports have described the review as progressing through the normal government process, while some articles have suggested that officials are carefully reconsidering the available evidence. Because those reports rely on unnamed sources, they should be treated as reporting, rather than confirmed official conclusions. Until the responsible authorities publish a decision, any prediction about the outcome remains speculative. The committee responsible for protective security decisions is required to assess available information according to established legal principles and operational advice. Government representatives have consistently stated that the process is intended to be rational, proportionate, and based on current circumstances, rather than personal relationships or public opinion. Whether that process ultimately results in any changes remains to be seen. Beyond the legal questions, the wider public discussion reflects the continuing fascination with the relationship between the Sussexes and the royal family. For some, the story is about constitutional arrangements and personal security. For others, it represents a broader debate about the challenges of balancing private independence with public identity after stepping away from official royal responsibilities. Whatever the final outcome, the review is likely to shape future discussions about how the Sussexes interact with Britain, the royal family, and the institutions responsible for their security. Until an official decision is announced, however, many of the conclusions circulating in public debate remain opinions rather than established facts. As always, the most important question is not which theory proves the most dramatic, but what the evidence ultimately shows once the review is complete. When the final decision is published, it will provide a clearer picture of how the government intends to balance security considerations, legal obligations, and the unique circumstances surrounding Prince Harry's future visits to the United Kingdom.